Welcome back to the Listener Series, Season 3. If you haven't seen Week 1's video, you can do so by clicking the thingy in the top right corner. I am coming off of a 3-2-1 victory in Week 1. Let's go. And I am currently sitting in 11th place. Let's get on to Week 2. The Listener Series is a 5-week Hearthstone deck building league that ends with 3 weeks of playoffs until a single winner is crowned victorious. What makes the Born to Be Wild Listener Series special is that each week comes with a different deck building restriction, requiring players to get a little creative with their card choices. The deck building challenge for this week's video is simple. This week is Short and Tall Week. What's that mean? Well, it means that every deck needs 0, 1, and 2 cost minions, aka the short part of Short and Tall Week. Each deck also needs 8 and 9 cost minions, which is the tall portion of the challenge. With 15 total minions required in the deck at minimum, that means that each deck will have 3 0 cost minions, 3 1 cost minions, and so on, concluding with 3 9 cost minions. The other 15 card slots are fair game. All right. Week 2 of the Listener Series, Game 1. It is my Kingbane Rogue versus my opponent's Taunt Druid, which I think is not ideal for me. I think that's quite an unfortunate matchup. I will say it's not like obviously the perfect, super clean, like Haginox Taunt Druid like you'd expect, because you have to have 3 0 cost, 3 1 cost, 3 2 cost, 3 8 cost, and 3 9 cost. So he's got like some less than ideal cards in there. But I also do, as you can see by my Mulligan here, I run Ragnaros in my Kingbane deck. Here in the Mulligan, I thought for a really long time, I'm not that experienced with Kingbane. I don't know if I'm supposed to keep the weapon, or if I'm supposed to keep a way to get the weapon. I ended up, after much deliberation on the 2 job, just throwing everything away and keeping Raiding Party with the plan to coin it out on 2, I guess. And as you can see by my hand here, it didn't really get much better for me. I ended up just getting an 8 and a 9 cost card, which is really unfortunate. Here, my turn 2, I decided to just play the minion because I have it, and I choose to play the taunt to protect it so that the 1-2 doesn't just eat my 3-1. But then I thought maybe I should have saved the O2 to combo the Raiding Party. But I don't really need to combo the Raiding Party because I have the weapon in my hand. I, of course, was not smart enough to make that realization, so I, of course, instantly coined out the Raiding Party to not get any value out of the combo. I do end up drawing cards I can play, which is okay, I guess. Here, I actually thought a pretty long time. I still don't know what the right play is. I opted to kill the 1-2 Noyatron instead of the other 1-2, but I don't know if that's actually better. It was pretty gross that he had that turn. I really wanted to just like shoot this 1-2 and to go face for 3, but I couldn't do that. It's possible that I was going to make this line. I should have just Kingsbaned it and traded the 3-1 away. But this line I develop a 2-1 instead of a Kingsbane. Although he just hero powers it like much like he did in my turn too. I think he's just going to end up hero powering this. So I don't know what I was supposed to do in this early game. My hand's really dead. I'm yeah, I'm in trouble, I think. But Kingsbane sometimes starts slow. I tapped like another 8 cost card, which is really tragic. Don't like doing that. And I was like, you know what, I'll just kill this 1-2 and try to get some chip damage or whatever. Just start building my weapon up. I have a pretty dead hand here, so ideally I top deck a weapon buff, and then I can cutting class to get playable cards. He plays this card, which is in his deck for some reason. I was like, what is that card and why does he run it? I think this might be the best top deck in my deck. It allows me to buff the weapon for this cutting class, and it allows me to kill this 2-3 with my weapon. The reason in my head that I wanted to kill this 2-3 was because it makes this first taunt minion cost 2 less, which means you could play Moarg Forge Fiend or Lich King next turn on 6 mana. And I think I lose the game to both of those cards. So I end up just killing the 2-3 despite having to throw 4 damage away. And then, you know, playing what's probably my last pirate, basically. I've played all my 1 cost at this point. There's 1 maybe, 1 or 2 left. I do have this Blade Flurry, which is like the best card in the deck, I think. So that gives me some slimmer of hope. If I'm able to get my Kingbane big enough, fast enough, and I can throw damage face, I might be able to get over the wall with a Blade Flurry. Here he gained 12, which I actually think is good for me because it's like he has to have cards. And so if he like plays some of the cards he has and then doesn't draw any more good ones, like one of the cards is an Imp. He only has 4 cards, and those could be kind of bad. They could whiff. Here I just, you know, spend my mana in any way I can, which is just swing and re-equip my dagger. I did think about if there's any reason to play it or save it. Like I could activate combo if I save it. And I don't really have any reason to play it as far as I could tell. But I actually don't have any reason to save it either because there's no combo I need to activate. The only combo in my deck left is like the oil or the raiding party, which I don't have any use for either. So I just decided to play it to spend my mana while I have it. Because you never know, I might top deck like Cutting Class or Secret Passage and spend my mana next turn. And I think that that's better than saving the Kingbane to activate combo. Lightly used armor and some hero power. It's pretty gross. My opponent's at 43. Someone help. Here I just give my weapon 3 attack and hit him for 7. Pretty classic Hearthstone turn. Just hit him in the face. Instead of playing his 8-cost taunt cards, he plays his Hadronox, which is a little interesting because he has like no taunt cards dead. But I guess I didn't want to kill it off this turn. So he actually gets away with it being in play. Because as we're about to see, he can now play a taunt, which I then have to kill before the Hadronox. I was pretty upset at this. I'm almost wishing I cut Lich King. Because this happened in testing too, where I just always get the 6 or the 5 mana spell. And they both suck. Here's really sad, by the way. Like, I don't want to kill Hadronox. I want to kill it first, but I can't really kill it first. Oh, I don't play the Doom Pact. What did I do? Oh, I played a Rag. That's so gross. And I killed this 10-2 first, which was probably stupid. This turn was gross and terrible and bad and awful and gross. Because now not only do I kill his 10-10, but then I kill his Hadronox, so it gets another 10-10 that can then attack immediately that turn. Him naturalizing this is super good for me. Because now I have playable cards, so I can just like Doom Pact and then Raiding Party and then play Kingbane and hit him in the face. So that's exactly what I do, right? I have no way to kill this 10-drop, 10-attack minion otherwise. That would just kill me. And unfortunately, I hit both 9-drop dragons and Deadly Poison. The best 3 cards left in my deck, pretty much. And at this point, I'm pretty sure I've lost. Like, I have no confidence anymore that I can win this game. I'm, like, dry of all confidence. Like, I just assume it's over. But I'm going to keep playing my cards, keep hitting in the face with Kingbane. Maybe he whiffs, you know? He healed for 12 earlier, so it's possible he doesn't have enough cards. And he'll, like, whiff a turn or 2, and I'll get there. But I'm pretty sure this game's just over. At least when I was playing it, I was pretty sure that this game was over. And here he's gonna make another big taunt wall, which involves 2 10-10s and 2 Annoyotrons, which is really tragic. Fortunately for me, I top decked a way to buff my weapon. So here I chose to kill off the Divine Shields, buff the weapon. I actually checked the cards to make sure that Blade Flurry only hits enemy, because this lets me tinker and buff my 0-2 minion before I AoE. And actually, the Blade Flurry turn was just really clean here. This turn was really good. Like, I think I've lost, but this turn was quite good. Because it allows me to not take fatigue, and I clear his board, and I develop a minion. It's about as good of a turn you can have at this point in the game. Like, there's just not much better than this. But again, I'm at 6. He's playing Taunt Druid, so I really need these 4 cards to be a whiff to have any chance. And so far, they're looking pretty bad. Like, what was this? He plays a 1-1 and a 1-2, and he aligns me. This is not very good. Like, this didn't do anything. So I just was like, alright, I did not die to this fatigue. And he's got 1 card and a 1-2 in play. I'm going to play my biggest minion and hope that next turn I can go all face. He plays a Lich King, which is really unfortunate. I'm pretty sure I need to Blade Flurry this to send 8 face, but I'm curious what I actually did when I played. I think I Kingsbaned and then Blade Flurried, because it allows me to send 8 face, yeah. I think that play is still correct, even in post-game commentary. Here, if he just doesn't like have good cards, I can actually get there. I have 11 damage coming up with Kingspan and 8 in hand. And like, I see this Nature Studies, and I'm like, oh, you don't want to play Nature Studies with like post-Celestial Alignment if your cards in your hand are good. Because the cards you get off Studies cost a ton of mana. So I'm like, wait, he only has 1 mana. Do I win? And he plays Guess the Wait. Now, if you're a good Hearthstone player, at this point, you're jumping out of your seat in excitement because you realize you have guaranteed lethal next turn. I am not a good Hearthstone player. So I spent the next minute Googling to see if I did indeed, in fact, have lethal, because I've literally never played the Seashare the Dreamer card ever. I like how you see my mouse on the right side of the screen, like, just go off. Because I'm like, wait, do I get 0 mana deal 5 with Ysera here? Do I win? I'm like looking at this card, I'm like, wait, is this lethal? Do I get 0 mana heal 4? Or deal 4? I've literally never played Ysera the Dreamer. It's so funny. I like went over, like Googled it. I was like, oh, it's not 0 mana 5/5 anymore. It's 0 mana 4/4. So I'm like, wait, 8 plus 11 plus 4. So I'm like, wait, I got it. It does work. So I played like a minute into my turn. I'm sorry, Dr. Bob. I actually didn't know that I would have it. I had to Google. I was like, I'm pretty sure I get it, but I'll look it up. And then I just had lethal. So that was sick. I can't believe I won this game. I thought for sure I was screwed. But he just didn't have, like, the cards after running out of them. So that's really exciting. Game 1, I have taken down his Taunt Druid with my Kingsbane. From here, I'm feeling pretty good. Much like last week, this week I queued what I felt like was my worst deck to try to get a win with it before moving to my stronger stuff. And again, the reason I do that is because in Conquest, every deck you bring has to win. So I need a win with my worst deck. I might as well try it first, because I have the most possible matchups that it could win against early. Here I have a pretty simple mulligan. With this format, when you have 3 8s and 3 9s and 3 0s and whatever in your deck, you just keep every card that you want in your deck on purpose. So I just kept both Murlocs, happily. And I played the Tidecaller over the Forager, because if he plays an Armor Vendor, I can kill it off by making my 1/2 a 3/3 with the Tidehunter. Here he plays a Wisp, really terrifying. I looked through his deck list. I was like, is there any punish if I leave this alive? I was like scrolling through his list, and I realized absolutely not. This is a Wisp, and I hit him in the face for 3. Here he plays Dreamlight Guardians, which is a fantastic Nature Studies card for what it's worth. I was like, oh, that's actually quite annoying. That's a good card. So I'm like thinking, I'm like, what do I do? Do I go Angler? If I go Angler and Forager, he can kill my Angler on board, which feels really bad. I don't want that to happen. So I'm like, well, I should probably save the Angler. So I draw with Ice Fishing. Get double Scout, which looks kind of weird. And then I play my 1-drop. Howl's just like a worse... I guess it's a better shield block, but he didn't gain very much armor. Here I'm like, wait. Do I just go double Scout? The thing about double Scout is it's like... if you can clear them both, you lose out on your Scout value permanently. But if you can't clear them, every minion you play gets +2 attack. It's kind of nuts. Like, most people look at this card and they see the Rush, which is really good, obviously. But now if I play a Murloc, I get +2 attack. So I'm like looking, I'm like, oh, is he gaining 12 again? I don't think that line ever wins. Like, if I have a spell, he just dies. But here I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll play my double buffed minions. And then just, like, hit him for what I can. This was gross. I'm not sure if this play was correct. I chose to protect the Angler, but maybe I should have protected the Scout or anything that gave me immediate damage that turn. But I don't hate it. Here it's basically like, he can't really clear this. Like, he can't really do anything about my board. He doesn't have any removal, really. He just has, like, some taunt and some, like, draw cards and stuff. It's hard to explain his deck, honestly. So I'm, like, just hoping for a spell. If I draw either AoE, he's just so dead. He's so unbelievably dead. Here, unfortunately, I cannot do anything. I can't play any card. I can't make any board space. So I do as any good Hearthstone player does. And I send every minion I have face. Here he has killed the minion, so I now get to play one. I considered the 6-mana Murloc here, but I ended up not playing it because I could use it to get through a taunt wall later. So I just play the Mogu. I'm like, well, 3 attacks probably better. Best play here. And I send everything face. I'm not sure he can really win here. I'm pretty sure he's dead. I don't remember how the rest of this game went, but I'm pretty sure I just kill him. Like, how does he ever win from here? I played Murlocs and I went all face.
Here he has played a 0-mana 2/3 and a Moarg Forge Fiend. Unfortunately for him, this Seer I've kept in my hand is lethal, because I can use it to deal 2 damage to his minion, which is essentially 2 face damage at this point. So I trade off 6 damage. I play the Seer. He heals for 8, but it's not enough, and I send all my minions to the dome for exact lethal. Beautiful stuff. And that is game 2. So far, my Kingbane and now my Murloc Shaman have beaten his Taunt Druid. Let's check out game 3 after this quick break. Welcome back. A returning sight on this game of Hearthstone. We have seen another matchup against a Taunt Druid. He is persistent to get a win with this deck. And I can't blame him, it's Conquest. He has to win with this deck at least once. I'm thinking here, like, should I just save this 1/3 for Plague? Like, what's the advantage of playing this? I'm not really sure there was an advantage to playing this. But I have an addiction, or quite frankly a disease, where I'm not allowed to waste mana. It's not something I can do. I have a mana, I have a 1 mana 1/3. I gotta play the 1 mana 1/3. It's just hard coded into my brain. The only way I really lose is if he gets his stuff on before mine and kills me with it, which is really hard to do. Or, in hindsight, the other way to lose is fatigue. That's not necessarily a spoiler, but in hindsight, it's like, maybe I shouldn't be drawing cards. But I didn't realize that in the time yet. I was just drawing to try to find Skull on 5, because I felt like that's how I would win. But yeah, here I'm like, ooh, that's not good for me. I don't have my Skull or my Demons, and he's going to start playing his big stuff soon. But there's not much else to do. I'll just pass. Here he coins out Varian Wren in just 3 cards, which is quite good. But it also means I'm ahead in fatigue again. So if I was a smarter player, I probably would stop drawing cards here and try to win in fatigue. I'm not a very smart player, though. Here I'm like, well, I guess I killed another big minion with my other Dark Skies. And then I'm like, yeah, let's draw for this, draw for the Skull, draw for an 8-cost Demon to play next turn. I think I regret drawing in hindsight, but it's hard to say. Like, if I can just get to my cards, I think I'm fine. And then, oh no, I forgot he ran Naturalize. I'm sitting here with 3 0-cost minions in my hand. I lose a Plague of Flames. Losing a Plague of Flames against a deck that makes big, wide boards of taunts is probably not good. And I'm like, I also have like a, what is it, like 1 in 10 chance to lose the game on the spot. Thankfully, I don't do that by drawing Gul'dan. At this point in the game, I was starting to think, wait, should I be not tapping? He plays his Fizzy. I play my Void Lord. 1 minion is bigger than the other. His minion's a lot bigger than my minion. But my minion protects my face and gets in my Gul'dan pool. Here he plays Lich King, which is quite a card. It's a card that gives me Doom Packs and... oh my gosh, dude. He nature studies a random germination. And unfortunately for me, here is the beginning of the end. Where he's getting Lich King value up the wazoo, dude. I do have to Plague of Flames because I can't let Lich King farm me. Yeah, so I do that, and then I play an 8-cost minion. I had 9 mana. Maybe Morganis was better there. Here he plays Death Grip and steals my Expired Merchant. Which basically means he has stolen any chance I had of winning directly from my deck. So, at this point, I think it's fair for me to concede. But I don't do that. I don't ever like to concede in these. I like to play it out to every win I can possibly have. And let my opponent do the honors of, like, killing me with his cards. It's the least you could do in, like, a for fun league. But I'm pretty sure I just lose the game on that. Because now I only have 2 Guldans. And, like, if my Guldans aren't, like, massively good, I don't think I ever win. Here I play Willow, which in hindsight is just drawing more cards. But because he's taken 2 Guldans from me, or 1 Gul'dan, however that card works, 1 Gul'dan, I guess. Because he's taken another Gul'dan from me, I think I just lose. So I'm just like, maybe I'll kill him with these minions and play. He gets to play one of his extra Hadronoxes and kill it off. Not good for me. Not good at all. From here, I think the game's just over. Like, not only has he high-rolled 2 Lich Kings, which allows his Hadronox to bring 2 back now, and continue to pour Lich King cards into his hand, but his Lich King card that he got also just stole a Gul'dan from me. Like, his minions are always guaranteed to be like 8/8s and 10/10s. There's only a few Annoyatrons in there. And those are just always bigger than my minions. Here I have changed it to 200%. I don't have a whole lot left to show in this game, but I am trying my best still. I did make the trades I could. In hindsight, maybe allowing that 1/2 into 7/1 was bad. And leaving a Lich King alive for him to, like, theoretically trade into something and live is bad, because he's just, like, his hand is, like, 6 Lich King cards. Like, he's running into the same problem of last game where he just doesn't have card draw and he can whiff, but the Lich King cards aren't going to let him whiff, right? Like, he's just set on Lich King cards. Like, as soon as he gets, like, buff your board or AoE me or anything, I just lose. Here he chooses double branching his minions, which is strange to me, because he only needed to do it once to be able to make the good trade. He also depth skips again, which is a bad minion. Like, I don't mind losing Kobold Librarian, but it made me draw again, which is not ideal. Not that I can win anyway, because I only have 2 Guldans. Here I thought, I was like, do I ever win if I just Gul'dan now? Like, is Gul'daning now and hoping he whiffs ever correct? I'm like, probably not. I also considered silence. Like, do I have to kill this 2/1 or can I leave it alive? I came to the conclusion I can probably leave it alive. He doesn't have any way to kill it. And next turn I can kill it off and play Gul'dan. He plays Fizzy and kills my dude. And thankfully can't kill my 2/1. So like, you know, this trade's pretty good. I get to make a big Gul'dan board on nothing. And then I get the biggest low roll I think quite possible. I get 5 1/3s. Which is just a disgusting disgrace. Like, I have 2 5/5 with lifesteals that are better than those. I have a Void Lord, and I have a Mal'Ganis. The only chance I could win this game left was a Mal'Ganis that lives. Because then I can just not die to fatigue and, like, eventually kill him. But instead, no. I get 5 1/3s. As if this game wasn't already over to the Lich King high roll, I now get 5 1/3s. Which is so scuffed, because it means that my next Gul'dan will have a bunch of 1/3s. There is a full clear here. I'm almost positive. In the moment, I took the entire time duration. Like, I like found it as I went, and then as soon as the rope started, I like lost it. I was like, oh gosh, the rope's here. But there is a full clear here with this Defile. And I'm really upset at myself for not getting it. Oh yeah, I can see it now in post. So I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As soon as the rope comes up, I panic. I'm like, wait, where's my 6? I don't see it. But I didn't realize, oh, there's the 6. But then I was missing a 7, I guess. And because I roped, I now don't get to play this Mistress and Drain Soul one of the 8/1. So he just gets 2 more Lich King cards. And hits me for 16. Again, though, if I, like, did that full clear there, I still never win. I still never get there. Like, maybe it allows me this turn to play or it allows me to play Gul'dan this turn. Instead of doing this stuff. But it's like, his hand is full of Lich King cards. He's got, like, 8 Lich King cards in there. This man high-rolled me unbelievably hard this game. Like, the death scripts alone was just so disgusting. He continues the Lich King high roll with the make a big board and give it all +2/2 and immune, which I just find hilarious. I decide to let him have the honors. I trade off my board, get it out of the way, hit him for the face, give him a nicely done. Let him kill me with the 3 Lich Kings that he has in play. Like, what a joke. What a high roll. And that's the end of game 3.
Versus Sylvanas.
Alright, now that I have lost to his Taunt Druid, he needs to win with his remaining 2 decks. His remaining 2 decks are like a Death Rattle Hunter with like an Egg early game and a Katharina late game. And his other deck is an aggro Elemental Shaman with like Burn and stuff. And like the early 1-drop Elemental package. And I'm playing Control Warlock. So I think he decides, you know, the way to be Control Warlock is probably like Katharina with big King Crushes and stuff and lots of Death Rattle value. So he picks Hunter over the aggro Shaman, which I think makes sense. Like, he could theoretically scam me before I can get taunts down by just sending a ton of damage face. But I run Mistress of Mixtures, Armor Vendor, Touch, Drain Soul, and Dark Skies. Not to mention 0 cost and Plague of Flames. So I don't know if it's actually possible for him to scam me ever. So here it's just like, alright, well last game I screwed up by tapping. But I'm like almost certain that I tap in this matchup. Because I just like make big demon taunts and I never lose. Here I need his Mixtures and tap. I'm just looking for Skull. I've been filling my hand for the Dark Skies. It's a little bit unfortunate. You don't love to see Huffer, you know? Huffer's pretty good. Here I decided to tap and then play touch, but because I tapped into Librarian, I chose to trade and play Librarian instead of touch. Because it allows me to be a little bit more proactive in a way that I felt was better. Here I chose to Drain Soul plus Girl to heal for an extra 1. In hindsight, I don't like that I did this. Because now I don't have any way to kill 4 health minions. Or in this case, 5 health minions. Here I'm pretty sure I just always Dark Skies. Dark Skies is really good at clearing big minions in the middle game. Like, because I have all these short minions and I have all these tall minions. So if he can ever cheat out mid-game minions like that with Baited Arrow, Dark Skies is really good at killing those. So here I Dark Skies Armor Vendor. He then continues to cheat out middle game minions. Actually a pretty cool idea for a deck. Like, you get minions pretty well curved out. Here is where I really regret my Thalnos play, because now I can't Thalnos and heal for 4 by killing that. So I have to Dark Skies it. Tapping into the vendor is nice, though. Like, I think just curving out vendors is pretty cool. Here I chose to coin Void Lord. I think I got a little antsy. Like, because now next turn I don't have a play for 8 mana. But also I didn't have a great way to kill this 5/4. So I was like, you know what? I'll just put a taunt in the way. And the taunt can deal with it. He decides to Hero Power pass. Which is just insane to me. I don't know how I ever lose if my opponent is Hero Power passing. I'm like, yeah, I'll just pass. Like, maybe the coin was bad, but also let me play the Dreadlord there to kill that 5/5 and kind of have it stick around, which is pretty good. So, like, it's okay, I think. Here he gets Misha and uses other flanking to kill my minion. Play a nice little ghosty dog onto the field, which nicely contests this 3/3. Here he plays Zundasta, which I'm, like, actually totally okay with, because it just means another minion gets out of his hands sooner, which I can then remove from the game. Like, his King Crush now is hitting a 1/3 instead of hitting face, and he set up a lovely Plague of Flames here. I mean, just lovely. When I tap like this, I'm like, wait, I have 3 minions in play, or 3 demons in play. Is that better than Plague of Flames? And I'm like, yeah, it is, because it lets me trade very cleanly into this 8/7. I considered touching here, but I was like, I don't need to. I can just trade, eat his King Crush, and hit face for 3. It's super good. Oh, I did end up trading. I don't even think I had to. I think I could have gone face. But I think if I don't trade, I could lose my Mal'Ganis, which is why I did it. Yeah, actually, maybe it is correct. It protects my Mal'Ganis, and if my Mal'Ganis doesn't die, I can't die. Fun fact, if your hero's immune, you can't lose. Here he plays a pretty weak turn, starts to kill at my Mal'Ganis. At this point, I'm like, oh. I mean, he's just dead, right? Like, he has 1 card, and he's playing a 1 and a 2-chop card. I decide to protect my Mal'Ganis, hit him for 9, and do literally nothing else. Here I'm like, well, I'm also going to do nothing and hit him in the face. But I might as well play a skull. Like, why not, right? You're never going to guess, guys, what I did this turn. You will never guess. The answer will shock you. Oh my gosh, I hit him in the face with my minions, and I do, like, almost nothing? Isn't that insane? Essentially, I keep the same game plan. I hit him in the face and do nothing. But by killing his 3/1, now his Bone Drake can only kill my 3/1 instead of killing my Mal'Ganis. So I just have lethal setup. I've won this game so far with a Mal'Ganis and a Voidwalker. Just boink, boink, end turn, boink, boink, end turn, boink, boink, and he concedes. So that is the conclusion of the Week 2 listener series for me. I have won 3-1. My Kingbane beat his Taunt Druid. My Murloc Shaman beat his Taunt Druid. My Control Warlock lost to his Taunt Druid. And then my Control Warlock beat his Death Rattle Hunter. Yeah, pretty exciting week. Next week, we got some more exciting Hearthstone gameplay action with the new fancy restrictions, so be on the lookout for that. But otherwise, I'll let outro JordanMG take it away.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked that video, you can click here to subscribe. If you want to watch more videos, you can click here to do so. This is my channel now.